sleep as ever. Whoa. I want to kidnap somebody, but I don't have a space to keep them. Now, if I wanted to build a cold concrete cell within which I could place this victim, I'd need to maximize the amount of space for the least amount of money. I have a budget of $24,200. Now, how big of a space could I build for this victim of mine with that much money?
Solve is an optimization problem that, in this case, will maximize volume. And the volume is the height of the cube, which is 3 yards, times the length and the width, which we were calling x and y. We have to keep in mind our surface area constraint, which is the surface area of all our walls, plus our floor and ceiling, because those are also made out of concrete. The kidnapper has a budget of $24,200, and concrete walling / flooring / roofing costs $100 per square yard of the walling / flooring / ceiling. So we divide the two together, and we get that we can purchase a total of 242 yards of concrete walling. So we can simplify our constraint equation to make it simpler to work with, turning it into 121 equals 3x plus 3y plus xy. Then take our simplified constraint equation and solve it for x, equaling 3y minus 121 over negative 3 minus y. Oh, don't mind the kitty cameo. Have to keep in mind the interval we're working on, so setting x equal to 0 in the constraint equation, we get y equals 121 over 3. That leaves our interval being 0 to 121 over 3. Going back to our original equation that we wanted to maximize, the volume, we're going to plug in our x variable and solve it for 9y squared minus 363y over negative 3 minus y. Then we are going to take the derivative of that. After a very lengthy, long, and arduous derivatization process, we will end up with negative 9y squared minus 54y plus 1089 all over the quantity negative 3 minus y squared. Taking that derivative equation and setting it equal to 0, we will then solve for our remaining variable, y. In this case, the quadratic formula was written down and employed as the leftover polynomial was not factorable. Y will eventually come out to equal negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 130. But keeping in mind the positive interval that we are working on, y will just end up equaling the square root of 130 minus 3, which is roughly 8.401. Going back to our original constraint equation, we are going to plug in our new y value of the square root of 130 minus 3 and then we are going to solve for x. X will come out to equal the square root of 130 minus 3. This is roughly 8.401. We can bring this back to our model of the room by labeling our height, which is 3 yards, and our x and y distances, which are both the square root of 130 minus 3. And we can loop this all back to find the final optimized volume for the room, which is 3 times the quantity, the square root of 130 minus 3, times the quantity, the square root of 130 minus 3. And this will yield us with 211.768 yards cubed. Not a bad sized room at all.
Yes! This will do nicely. Now, to find a rich victim who I can pilfer for all of their cash. There are only certain places where you should go to kidnap a victim, and only certain parts a day, too. So we're going to be going to the library at 3 o'clock. I've been monitoring the amount of people who go in and out of the library over the past week or so. I've calculated the rates at which they enter and leave, naturally.
The library opens at 6 a.m., which is t equals 0, and closes at 6 p.m., which is t equals 12. The total people that have entered the library will be represented by the equation E sub t equals the quantity 1/2 t minus 2 all squared plus 5. The total people that have exited the library will be represented by the equation L sub t is equal to 9/50 times t squared. The question that the kidnapper is trying to find out is if the total number of people in the library is increasing or decreasing at 3 p.m., which is t equals 9. We can start by setting up a relationship between our two equations by subtracting the rate of people exiting from the rate of people entering, which is the derivative of both equations. This boils down to the equation 1/2 t minus 2 minus 9/25 times t. Plugging in t equals 9 because we are finding the rate at 3 p.m., we get the total rate of people entering and leaving to be negative 0.74 people per hour. The rate at which people are entering and leaving the library is below 0, negative 0.74, which means that more people are exiting the library rather than entering at 3 p.m. Thus, the total number of people in the library is decreasing.
As you can see, 3 p.m. is prime time as the rate of people entering the library is less than the rate of people leaving it. Oh my God. Let me unlock this. I hate this. It takes a lot of upper body strength. Stop moving around. I really should have tied him. Oh, it's the cops. Good thing they called me the Leadfoot back in college, baby. Oh, it's a school zone. I have to slow down. Okay, great. No more kids to worry about. Okay, buddy, get out of here.
You know, you had really inconsistent speed for a high-speed car chase.
Oh, did I? Well, guess who's tied up and who's standing here? You're tied up. Well, we entered a school zone and we had to be going the proper speed limit, and you don't want to hit a toddler or something. You know, I was focused on you.
Well, in rebuttal, I would like to know your exact speed you went when you exited and entered said school zone.
Really? Well, there's only one way you can solve that, and that's with math.
On his way home from kidnapping his victim, the kidnapper checked his distance traveled several times during the drive. He found his position to follow the equation -15/7 times the cosine of 14t plus 45t, which is S of t. The chase after the cops appeared lasted a total of 30 minutes, which gives us the interval 0 to 30. Now, the kidnapper entered a school zone 17 and a half minutes into the chase and exited the school zone 23 minutes after the beginning of the chase. The victim prompted to know the kidnapper's velocity at the times when he entered and exited the school zone in miles per hour. To solve this, we can start by writing down our equation S of t, which is -15/7 times the cosine of 14t plus 45t, and taking the derivative of it, which equals -15/7 times 14 times negative sine of 14t plus 45. Simplified, that gives us our velocity equation, which is 30 times the sine of 14t plus 45. Start figuring out how fast he was going, we can plug in both of our times in terms of hours to our equations. Our first time is when he entered the school zone at 17 and a half minutes, which is 17 and a half over 60, and when he exited the school zone at 23 minutes, which in terms of hours is 23 over 60. Plugging in 17.5 over 60, we get that he was going 20.74 miles per hour, and plugging in 23 over 60, we get that he was traveling 21.20 miles per hour. So he was going 20.74 miles per hour when he entered the school zone and 21.2 miles per hour when he exited the school zone. Now, the speed limit in a school zone is 20 miles per hour. So, while it wasn't a horrible speeding offense, he was just slightly over the speed limit.
That's close enough.
It was under the speed limit! Say it!
No!
Say it! No! Right now!
You better not!
So, What's your mother's phone number? I have a ransom that needs paid.
Okay. It's...
Is this my victim's mother?
Yeah? Yes, this is the victim's mother.
I need $10,000 within 24 hours if you want your precious son back.
Oh dear! I will. Let me send you a totally realistic bank transfer.
Oh, perfect! I will be contacting you within 24 hours to notify you if I receive the money. And if I haven't, well, you know what's going to happen to your precious little boy.
So the kidnapper needs all of the money within 24 hours, which he needs $10,000. For whatever reason, the bank depositing process is being a little funky, and transferring money is happening at a rate of 150 times sine of half x plus 350, which is f of x, and this is in dollars per hour. Because the process is being a little funky, the money is being distributed and transferred over a period of 24 hours, which gives us our interval 0 to 24. On to more pressing matters, though. We need to know if enough money has been transferred and deposited after the 24 hours. We can figure out this by doing an integral with our equation 150 sine of 1/2 x plus 350 on the interval 0 to 24. This we can break up into two separate equations. The first equation requires u substitution, with u being 1/2 x and du being 1/2 dx, which brings us to our new substituted equation of 0 to 12, 300 sine of u. The integral of both of these, we are left with negative 300 cosine of u on the interval 0 to 12 plus 350x on the interval 0 to 24. We can plug in our numbers to get our final total money that has been transferred. Multiplying and adding it all together, we are left with the total of $8,446.84. So, $8,446.84 have been deposited after 24 hours, which, unfortunately for Mr. Victim, is not enough.
Well, it's unfortunate for you, Mr. Victim, but your mother didn't pay the money within the allotted time, and now you know what that means! Guys, don't kidnap and murder people. The Jeffrey Dahmer show it exemplifies everything that's wrong with society. Where the fuck are you going?